Hi and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Kodak No2 Hawkette, which is the fourth episode in the series on Art Deco cameras. So let's have a closer look. This is the Kodak No2 Hawkette. Now there was actually no number 1, and also if you look on the manual it actually says Kodak Hawkette number 2. So a bit of an oversight there on Kodak. This camera's claim to fame is that it was first all plastic, and in this case Bakelite camera, that was actually manufactured by Kodak, and it was only available in England. Now the Bakelite components of the camera were actually manufactured in England by EK Coal Company, which were based in Southend, and they were built in Harrow at Kodak's factory. Some parts, the mechanical parts, were actually imported from the USA. Now the camera was never actually sold to the public. It was actually used as a promotional tool, whereby if you bought a packet of cigarettes or a magazine, you'd have a coupon included in your packet of cigarettes or somewhere in the magazine, and then you'd save up the coupons and you could swap those for a camera. And it's actually claimed that Cadbury's actually included coupons in some of their bars of chocolate, although I'm not sure that's ever been actually proven. So actually one company was offering a camera for around 400 coupons, so you'd have to smoke a hell of a lot of cigarettes to get a camera like this. So let's have a quick rundown of the specifications of this camera. As I said, it was made between 1930 and 1935. It's actually a folding medium format camera and uses 120 roll film, giving 8 6x9 or 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch images. It's got a fixed focus meniscus lens, and from the information I've read, it's either a 105 or 90mm lens. I don't think there was, I think there's only one size of lens, but different sources claim a different size lens. As I said, it's actually a meniscus lens. The focus is 5 foot to infinity, and the shutter speeds are instant, and again, according to the sources you look at, it's either a 1/30th or a 1/50th of a second shutter speed. There are actually 3 apertures of f16, f30, f22 and f32, and it's actually got a waist level viewfinder, although it's pretty much useless, to be quite honest. It's very dull. Before we go ahead and look a bit more in depth at the camera, if you have a careful look here at the bezel on the inside of where it leads into the lens, it looks as though it's broken, and when I first bought this camera I thought, something's happened to this. Well, actually it's a design flaw, because the bezel was made too deep, and to allow the shutter to work the factory had to actually break off parts of the plastic at that point. The more rare model examples of this camera from later in the production life, they actually reduced the depth of the bezel so that it didn't have to be broken to allow the shutter to work. This particular camera it's pretty good condition, apart from this bit here, which part of the Bakelite's broken off. All of the cameras came in this rather fetching mottled brown and black Bakelite, but there were varying shades. Some were almost red, reddy brown, and others were dark brown, and some even came with the front and the back in different colours. So I suppose it was a promotional tool. They weren't too bothered about what the camera actually looked like, but it is quite a nice camera. It's one of my favourite Art Deco cameras of that period. So let's have a closer look at it. In order to release the bellows, you press these two tabs here, oops, and it shoots out quite quickly. Now the bellows on this example aren't bad. In fact, there are no light leaks that I can see. I have tested it. So they are pretty good, and some of these are quite renowned for damages to the bellows. Here is your viewfinder, just there, and as you can see it's rather dull, and to be honest it's pretty useless. You can see a few shadows, but then that's it. And you can use it in the landscape orientation, or if you flick it round it does turn. You can use it in the portrait. So on the front here, apart from the viewfinder and the lens, you have the speed selection, and there is instant, which I said was 1/30th or 1/50th depending on which source you read, and it's also got a timed. So you press your shutter to open the shutter, and then you press it again to close it. So the shutter is located here on the side, and it's a rotary shutter, or sometimes called a flip-flop. And if you see there, you take a picture and then you have to press it down to take another picture, and it can be a little bit awkward. I mean, the natural way is to press the shutter down rather than up. So you need to roll on before you take your next picture, obviously. Talking of film rewind, you've got your film rewind knob here, and strange enough you cannot accidentally unwind your film, so you need also to be careful that you wind on accurately to the number on the film back, which is shown in the red window here. In order to change apertures, and I'll cut in a little video here to show you the size of the apertures, you pull out this tab. In is I think the smallest aperture, then you pull it out and you can feel it click to your next aperture, and fully out to the largest aperture. I think that's the way it is, or it's the other way around. In order to open the back, you twist here on that tab there, and it just falls open. And it's very easy to load your film. Just put your new roll of film in, pull over the tab, locate it into the slots, and then wind your film on. I must say, if I was when I use this camera, I think I'd use a little bit of tape over there because of the modern films. Now you can find these cameras quite readily on eBay for around £20-ish, and you search around and you find a really good one. Some of them have got a little bit of breaks here on the edges, but you can usually find a decent one. The rarer ones, as I said, and they will command a little bit more money, are the ones with the shorter bezel without the broken parts inside. Now, as I say, this is one of my favourite cameras of the collection in terms of its aesthetics, but I haven't actually used it yet, and I will be making a video very soon about using this camera and showing the results. So I'll probably use a roll of black and white film with this, and I've got an idea of an ideal subject to take. So please stick around for that. There'll be a lot more coming in the near future. I'm going to try and increase the number of videos I actually make to one every week if possible, but failing that, once every 2 weeks. So please stay tuned, please like and subscribe, please comment, and see you in the next one. Thank you.